Okay, I think we're live now. So I'm just going to run through the tutorial here. Um, are both streams working? I'm attempting to multi-stream to both YouTube and Twitch. But we're just gonna play through the tutorial here and check out some SnowRunner action. Get to the garage. So the map and the tutorial is going to tell you to head for this watchtower here. But this one right here, almost beside us at the start, is a much better one to grab at first. And then after that, we'll get a couple of upgrades before we finish the tutorial. Okay, that's awesome. Ooh. You don't want to drive off the edge. That'll be bad, especially at the very beginning when you have nothing to come and rescue yourself with. Oh, we got a subscriber. Excellent. The notification popped up. And it appears 2 viewers on Twitch. Wow, thank you for joining. This is my first ever stream, so if you have any constructive criticism, please feel free. So here's a good spot to learn how to use our winch. Just pull ourselves over the roots. And this is our first watchtower here. Give us a nice view of the bridge we need to build next to finish the tutorial. So up here there's a couple tricky spots right at the very beginning, especially if you've never played the game before. It could be a bit nerve-wracking going along this cliff here, because if you get too far to the right, you're gonna fall off. But if you keep your truck to the left, you should be okay, even with these starter tires. Now, we're going to take this first left here and head this way, and then take our second left that way, and that's going to lead us to our first upgrade for the Chevy. It'll get us the raised suspension, which will let us put larger tires on, and we'll be able to off-road a little bit better. And then up here's another tricky spot at the very beginning when you're not used to the game. Excuse me. I flipped here several times when I was learning. If you keep your tire right on that rock and then try to bounce off that rock, just like so, you can get through without having to use your winch. But there's lots of trees there if you do need it. And then watch these bumps here, because they're good for banging your truck around, taking damage. So we're going to take our second left here and keep heading uphill. The truck's going to struggle a little bit with the highway tires on it, but we'll get there. And so there it is. There's our first upgrade for our little pickup here. It'll, anytime you pick up an upgrade, it'll show you the available trucks that it's for, as well as the type of upgrade. So we got the raised suspension for the Chevy. Now, instead of driving out all the way back down the road, there's a little shortcut through here in these trees. And we're just gonna coast this out downhill. If you get going too fast, there's a good likelihood that the truck will flip. And you notice the back end bouncing around there. If we throw the parking brake on, it stops the back end from bouncing around, and the truck will roll downhill a little bit smoother for you. Don't worry too much about this initial water. Especially if you're playing on normal mode, you can get everything repaired for free once you reach the garage and refueled. So hard mode, you need to be a little bit more cautious. And again, it'll struggle a bit, but it'll get through. And just up here on our left, we're going to have another upgrade for the Chevy. It's going to be an engine upgrade. And it also applies to the Chevrolet Apache, which is a 6x6 DLC Scout that you could purchase. There's two ways to go about the tutorial. From here, you could go this way and over in this direction and get another Scout vehicle, which is actually called the Scout 800. Or we can go down this way and head into town and finish the tutorial. So for the sake of new players and to keep the test short, we're going to head down to town and finish this tutorial here. There's a couple trailers in town that we can grab for some quick experience before we go find that watchtower. And if you're playing hard mode, it's a good idea to turn your four-wheel drive off whenever you're on the pavement or asphalt or easy terrain that you don't need the all-wheel drive. So there's one trailer right at the town warehouse. We'll get some metal beams there in just a few minutes. But for now, we're just going to head down Main Street and swing by the fuel station. It's a motel here. There'll be a task here later on after we finish the tutorial. In a normal campaign, all your fuel is free. You just roll in, free fuel, and carry on your way. In hard mode, it's going to cost you a minimum $2 a liter with a max of 8. Now, if you just cut through the grass here, the watchtower the tutorial wants us to find is straight ahead. So, as you can see, I forgot to throw the all-wheel drive on. So it's not always essential, but it does definitely help. We found our first watchtower. Now it wants us to find our next truck. Now we'll throw the four-wheel drive on for this part. Careful on this hill because of the angle of it. If you get going too fast, you might flip. We're gonna cut through over here. And find our first cargo truck. So always remember to turn off your engine of whichever truck you're driving. If you leave it on and switch trucks, it will run itself out of gas. Not as big of a problem as it is in hard mode. So normal mode, you can just recover, get full fuel, and drive back to where you were. Hard mode, you'll have to send somebody to refuel you or pay for the recovery. So we're going to switch over to the GMC here. And the tutorial is going to tell us about contracts. And if you're playing along, you can read along. Otherwise, you can pause to read for yourself. I'm just going to blast through here real quick because it's a little bit of a test stream. So it also shows us other garages. And we're just going to activate the tutorial task here, the old bridge. Okay, so the bridge needs metal beams and wooden planks. The wooden planks are right down the hill at the sawmill. The metal beams are up in town. We drove past them where the up arrow is there. Now, driving around with an empty truck is slightly risky. A good tip for the game is to always drive around with weight on your wheels. So I'm not going to go down and pick up the wood planks just yet. I'm going to go get the metal beam first, because that's going to make driving the wood planks around much easier and getting up this hill much easier. So going up the hill empty is generally a bit easier unless the conditions are extremely muddy. And then once we get the metal beams on there, even the rear drive GMC here will, it'll have no problem getting out of the sawmill. Now, if you're playing hard mode, you will have to pay for your initial cargo load, or common strategy is to repair the Fleet Star straight out of the garage, because hard mode has a different starting point. And there we are. We're all loaded up with beams. Now, we're gonna head back to the sawmill to pick up the wooden planks. Before we leave town, we're going to swing down this back road here and discover another trailer for some quick experience. Just hang a left. And it's right up here on our right. Just gonna reverse in, make leaving easier. There we go, 30 XP per trailer. And that applies to all trailers that you find out in the world, except for trailers that are for designated missions. So that's a good way to tell if you're going to need that trailer later for a mission, or if you can sell it for some cash. Now, watch your speed coming down here. I'm gonna show you how bouncy it's gonna get, and we might have an accident, so. But as you can see, the GMC can get kinda bouncy coming down there. But as long as you have a little bit of caution, you should be able to get through the tutorial without any major issues. Now, if you grabbed a different trailer, you could remove the cargo that's inside it and pick up the steel beams with that. But I'm going to pick up this trailer over here and snag us another 30 experience. Again, always try to reverse in places and avoid the mud if you can, especially at the very beginning when we only have highway tires. Just back in here, attach trailer. And now what we're going to do is we're going to head a horseshoe out of the sawmill. Then we're going to go fix up our bridge here. And same with the Chevy there. These dirt roads, it might struggle a little bit, but it'll get through it eventually. And if you get stuck or get hung up or anything, you can always winch to something and pull yourself where you need to. The other thing I'm going to demonstrate going down this road is what we call clutch bumping. It's where you tap your left bumper. It will act as if you're manually shifting gears that way, and put the truck in the best gear for that situation. I'll see if we can get a downshift here. Little one, but nothing major. We'll slow down for this. Hit our bumpers, and that'll shift us down to third rather than stopping us dead. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that word. The other thing you can do when clutch bumping is, if you want a little speed boost off the start on some asphalt, or you have really good traction, you can just give it a couple taps from the stop and it'll accelerate a little quicker. I'll demonstrate that out here on the asphalt road. So if we bring the truck to a stop, it's going to want to start in first gear. But if we tap our bumper clutch, it'll shift it right up to fourth for us, and then almost instantly into fifth. So if you know you're not going to have any traction issues, you can bump your clutch a little bit like that and give yourself a little speed boost. So we're going to stop here, and again, as much as possible, try to remember to shut your engine off. It's not the end of the world if you don't, especially on normal mode. You can refuel for free. So we're just going to drop this cargo off and build a bridge here. Some tasks and contracts come in 2 stages where you have to do the first stage first before it'll unlock the second stage. But if you read through your contracts or track them, it does show you up in the top right everything that you'll need for completion. That's why I brought everything in one load rather than making 2 trips. You can always do another trip though. Just play however you want. If you don't want to deal with the trailers, don't deal with the trailers and just drive trucks. I hope that sound didn't deafen. Let me know if volumes are good or bad, and I can adjust things on the fly. Now that we built that bridge, we're going to head straight down the road. We're going to go to the right at the fork. And eventually we're going to get to our garage here. Now, if it's not your first time playing through the game, there is a few things you can pick up along the way, which I'll be demonstrating next time when I start playing hard mode. This is just the tutorial to show you how to find your garage and get started. And next time we'll be starting a hard mode series and go for 100%. Now, most of this map here you can get by with these highway tires. You can struggle a bit in some spots. Definitely don't take it in there to rescue that truck. You will get stuck. There's no rush to do everything in the map before you move on. You can play the game however you like and bounce around to different maps and find different trucks and trailers over there. So there's no proper way to play SnowRunner. It's one of the nice things about it. Now, this spot here is going to be probably the hardest starting out for this truck. Try and keep a couple tires in the grass for the best traction. But if you try and tow a trailer while the truck is empty, it's really going to struggle through here, like a loaded trailer. The empty truck and trailer combo is not too bad. Now, we're actually going to stop right here and then turn left and come over here and get an upgrade. It looks a little risky, but trust me, you can make it. Try to avoid the road though. It's very, very muddy, and aim straight for that rock. And as you can see, I just totally got myself stuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to winch from the trailer. And that should pull my truck forward to the spot I want it. And now we're off on our own power again. Excuse me. So coming up here, it's a little risky with the bigger trucks, but if you go slow and steady with these bigger trucks, it's not too bad. There is a risk that you can fall off this bridge here, but slow and steady wins the SnowRunner race. So we'll just stick a tire in there just so we can pick up the raised suspension for this exact truck. Now we're just going to back up just a touch so we can pull back through. Again, try not to be directly on the road all the time in Michigan. Most of the time it's the muddy spot. So if you can cut through the grass without hitting the trees, it's generally a little bit better if you don't slide down the hill like I just did there. And this is our garage and staging area for all our trucks and trailers and stuff. We have a trailer store straight ahead, a mission trailer, and a couple free trailers as well. These curtain side trailers here, they're generally reserved for missions. This middle one is a service trailer for repairing your trucks and trailers. And this is just basic cargo trailer with some metal beams on it for us. And if you're playing normal mode, then you can sell all the trailers you find on the map. If you're playing hard mode, you can't though. You just have to delete them if the clutter bothers you. But the way to sell a trailer is just drive up to this yellow marker here. When you see the trailer store icon pop up, hit X. And the game now automatically toggles to the trailer you have attached so that you can just quick sell it. There we go. We just made $3,400 from that trailer. Now we're going to go over here and find another truck and our garage, as well as the all-wheel drive for the International Fleet Star that's sitting right here. And that's our garage. We made it. So we can go inside, and this is where all the customization happens for your trucks, and picking your add-ons and your engines and everything like that. The game's going to give us a quick tutorial about it as well, including a quick travel tutorial here. It's going to tell us that we can do some traveling, prepare our trucks, retain it with X. And then it'll tell us to move to the global map. So we'll do that, and it wants us to visit Alaska. Now, if you instantly jump straight to the garage, it'll skip a couple tutorials for you. So if it's your first time, read through the tutorial and do what it says, because it's going to give you a couple nuggets of info that are pretty handy. Now, as you can see, my garage has more than just the GMC truck in it. And they all carry the DLC tag. These ones were all bought with real-life money, so don't feel obligated to have them. They're not required to complete the game or to get your trophies or anything like that. They're completely optional, so if you can't afford them, don't buy them. So the tutorial wants us to bring out our truck again and leave the garage. So we're going to do that. and we get a little welcome to Alaska message. Tells us that the weather conditions are pretty harsh and that we might not be prepared, so we can always go back to Michigan, and we don't have to stay here or stay in any region for any length of time we don't want to. We can travel about and check out everything. So if you're going to complete a lot of stuff in Michigan before you come to Alaska, one way to gain an extra bit of cash is grab this trailer while we're here, and we're going to take it over to the trailer store and just sell it. That'll help us kickstart our enterprise. Now, if you're playing hard mode, you would need to drive... Well, if you're playing hard mode, you're probably not going through the tutorial, so... But we can just quick recover to the garage in normal mode for free. In hard mode, recovering always costs money, so it's best to drive as much as possible, unless it's an emergency. So we're going to retain that and head back to Michigan. There's our GMC back in Michigan. Now we have Fleet Star sitting outside here. If you look in the bottom left-hand side, you can see that it's completely thrashed out. Now, the tip for hard mode is to drag the repair trailer over to this truck and repair it that way. In normal mode, you can just recover it straight to the garage, and it's 100% repaired, totally drivable and refueled. So that's one perk about normal mode. It does save some time, especially at the end of the region with cleanup. Hard mode, you generally end up having to drive all your vehicles back to the shop and collect them and all the spare fuel and that sort of stuff. With normal mode, you can just recover everything to the garage and move on to your next region, all for free. Hard mode, the deployment, all costs money. Now, one thing we can do while we're in here is we can install some upgrades. If you're just starting the game, it'll give you a little tooltip there about each upgrade category and what it kind of does. And when you unlock these upgrades, it will show a price for you to buy them for additional vehicles. So you'll get one for free, and then you'll have to buy more for each vehicle after. Now, one of the upgrades we picked up on the way here was the raised suspension for the GMC. We can install that one, and then sell the old one with X. Or I guess square if you're on a PS controller. The other thing with normal mode is you can basically just upgrade your tires for free. As you can see, the 47-inch tires are $2,300, and the 43-inch tires are $2,300. You'll also notice the purple banner here next to these tires. These are DLC tire package. It's the JAT tire package. Again, it's not necessary for completing the game. It is it's a very early game boost for initial starting out, but eventually you do want to switch back to the vanilla tires. For this truck in particular, it's the UOD2s that are the better tires than these OMDs. And I'll show you on the Fleet Star as well. comes down here, and the Fleet Star actually has different tires than the Chevy. Oh, my mistake. It has the exact same tires, so it'll eventually get put on UOD2s as well. The Fleet Star we also picked up a couple upgrades for. What did we get? The all-wheel drive for it. So we can sell the rear drive option for a little more money. Another option is if you're in a rush to get the upgrade on the Chevy, you can recover that to the garage. Otherwise, you can leave it where it is, and we're going to use it to get another vehicle and find our second garage. So when it comes to nighttime, to turn on your headlights, or even before nighttime, you want to use your left bumper and the B button, or circle on PS. And so we're just going to throw it in four-wheel drive. Now, one funny mechanic that you can enjoy with the game is the truck horns will break some of the environment. Some of it's more entertaining than others. I'll show you one along the way that's quite comical. Another difference between hard mode and normal is you can change the time of day anytime you want in normal mode. So if it's hard for you to see, you can just hit skip time a couple times, switch to morning, and then you don't need your headlights and you can see your surroundings much easier. So we can turn them off or we can flash them for some fun. Now, some signs are breakable, some aren't, so it's a fun surprise game. Now we're heading back into town here, and we're gonna jump on the main road. We're gonna turn right and head north out of town. We're gonna go pick up a couple of new tasks that appeared. I actually forgot about the two in town. So we're going to do a U-turn. And there's one around the back side of the town warehouse. It's called Missing Machinery. Right here. And the other one is at the motel that I pointed out earlier. We're gonna go right and head south out of town. Back towards the fuel station. And the motel on the right here is where we're gonna find the task. The initial discovery part of the game we call scouting, and that's what the Chevy 1500 here is. It's a scout truck. The GMC that we got second is classified as a highway truck. It doesn't have all-wheel drive, but it gets it eventually. The other truck we found was the International Fleet Star, which is a heavy-duty truck, and it will get a raised suspension, and it has its all-wheel drive, and we'll throw our all-wheel drive on, and then we'll pick up a couple more tasks before we go find that watchtower. right over there. Now, getting to it, we do have a chance of getting stuck going this way. There is an alternate route to get in there if you want to try that. Couple, if you really want to consider them. And you could always cut through the trees up the hill. So don't feel obligated to do exactly what I'm doing. This is just a quick tutorial run. So this swamp is notorious for hanging up the Chevy while it's got the highway tires on it. If we'd have taken it to the shop, we could have put some better tires on it, but if you keep 2 tires in the water right here, you can get through it. And it's not too bad. Try to keep the truck from revving up too high or too fast. Second gear generally does the trick quite well. And then the same thing across here. We're going to go to the far side because it's a little more shallow. And try to keep 2 tires in the water. And we're going to go left at this fork. Up this hill, there's going to be a task, and we'll find our second scout vehicle. You can see the tires slinging some mud there. Just go at it slow with a bit of patience, and you'll get through it. Once you find the grass, get onto that, and it's pretty solid. Now, once we pick up this task, we can continue following the road to get to the next vehicle. Or there's a shortcut if we go back to that other trail. Now, everything you see on the map is in place in the game, even the trees. So this section here where you can get through to this rock, that's always going to be open. Trees aren't going to grow in there. And so you can take the trail and follow it along to get to the scout up here. But this cliff is a little risky. There's some spots where falling off is a possibility. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to backtrack to that trail here. And I'm going to cut through here. And then we'll get to the scout that way. Don't forget to find some stuff to honk at for fun. You can knock over some boats. Or annoy your partners if they're sitting in the same room. And so this is the spot here where we're going to cut through the trees. Go slow and steady because the angle changes. There's always a risk of flipping your truck. If you need to, winch to the trees and pull yourself through. Now this hill can be pretty treacherous if you're new to the game. So I recommend staying along the rocks on the grass and letting 2 of your tires kind of level yourself out. And then we can start trying to make this left turn because as you can see it's a little sketchy. But once you get all 4 tires back down, then you should be okay. Now up here's our second scout, so we have the option to leave this truck here or keep driving it to the next garage. If you've never driven the Scout 800 before, it's kind of bouncy. It could get you into some trouble. I personally recommend using it in Island Lake because it's very muddy. And the Chevy doesn't do as well as the Scout in Island Lake. It has always on differential lock, so the tires are always moving at the same speed, so it goes through the mud a little bit better than the Chevy does. So we can shut the Chevy off and change trucks over to the Scout 800. We're gonna jump in and fire the engine up, throw it in all-wheel drive, and turn around. We're gonna drive down the hill. Again, we're gonna take shortcuts. It's risky, but it's less time being risky than this cliff here. And we don't need to take it back through town right now. We will eventually need to send a scout over here to finish the map, but we're gonna go to Smithville Dam and find our second garage. And that's where we might end the tutorial at. Oh, tree. So again, watch out for those. They just jump out of nowhere sometimes. Now again, earlier I was talking about going downhill with the e-brake on. Highly recommend it right here with this truck. The back end will get pretty bouncy on you and could end up going over. And there we go, little tutorial for the tunnel. We'll turn off the e-brake and make our way out of here. This is another spot here where you have the risk of flipping. There's that rock and kind of almost wheelies coming out of that ditch. So we're just going to jump through the tunnel here and head to Smithville. Here we are. Now we got a couple different options here at this gate. If we take the left fork, it'll take us to a fuel station that's right here. And then it carries on south. Excuse me, sorry. But we're going to go right at the fork here, and we're going to go to our second garage, which is right up the hill there. Just down the road from this service hub we can see. Again, we're on the asphalt, so we're going to give it a clutch bump and throw it into fourth from first. Because that won't stall your vehicle in real life. Oh, thank you for the heads up, Packable Steel. Street, sorry. Again, hit the clutch bump to give yourself a little more momentum. If you're impatient, you can always throw it in four-wheel drive as well. Going to use a little more fuel, but it'll get you up the hill a little quicker. And here we are. There's a trailer store right over here. Don't expect that throughout the entire game. There's not always a trailer store right beside your garage. Michigan is, these are our only two garage and sorry, garages in Michigan. We only have the 2. There is another trailer store as well. It's the far end of this map over here before you travel to, I guess it would be the 3rd or 4th region, depending on how you want to play. But if you notice, there was a second trailer store in Black River as well. So now we got the Scout in Black River. Sorry, Smithville Dam. And I think that's where we're going to end things for this stream. And thanks for watching and testing, and let me know if things were working. And I appreciate it. See you soon.